Some people get uncomfortable the moment you stop looking for them for approval. And it's not because you've done anything wrong, not because you become arrogant, not because you suddenly changed into a bad person, but because the moment you stop needing validation from other people, you become a lot harder to control. And if you've ever felt judged or criticized, misunderstood, rejected, or constantly worried about what other people think of you, then this conversation is for you. Because one of the greatest forms of freedom you'll ever experience is the day you realize that most people are not thinking about you nearly as much as you think they are. And the few people who are thinking about you all the time usually aren't doing it for the reasons you imagine. See, a lot of people spend years trying to manage other people's opinion. They adjust their personality. They stay quiet when they want to speak. They say yes when they want to say no. They shrink themselves to keep other people comfortable. They avoid opportunities because they're afraid of criticism. They stay in relationships that no longer serve them because they're worried about being judged. And before they know it, they're living a life that belongs to everyone else except themselves. Maybe you've been there. Maybe you replayed conversations in your head. Maybe you've worried about what people thought after posting something online. Maybe you second-guessed the decision because you knew somebody would have an opinion about it. Maybe you spent years trying to prove yourself to people who already decided who they wanted you to be. And if so, you're not alone, because the desire to be accepted is human. The desire to belong is human. The desire to feel valued is human. But somewhere along the way, many people cross a line. They stop wanting connection and start needing approval. And those are two very different things. Connection says, I enjoy being accepted. Approval says, I need your acceptance to feel okay. Connection gives freedom. Approval gives other people power. And that's where so many people lose themselves. Because when your self-worth becomes dependent on what other people think, your emotional state becomes dependent on people you can't control. Think about that. If someone compliments you, you feel good. If someone criticizes you, you feel bad. If someone validates you, you're confident. If someone rejects you, you're questioning yourself. That's not power. That's emotional dependence. And many people never realize that's what they're experiencing. And one thing I've learned about people is that they often judge what they don't understand. They criticize what threatens their comfort. They question what challenges their beliefs. And they resist what forces them to look at themselves. That's why some people become uncomfortable when you grow. Not because your growth hurts them, but because your growth exposes the places where they've chosen not to grow. Sometimes your confidence reminds them of their own insecurity. Sometimes your boundaries remind someone of their lack of boundaries. Sometimes your healing reminds someone of their wounds that they never addressed. Sometimes your courage reminds someone of the risk they've been avoiding. And instead of asking themselves difficult questions, they make you the problem. That's why you cannot build your identity around other people's reactions. Because other people's reactions are often more about them than about you. Now, don't misunderstand me. This isn't about becoming cold. This isn't about becoming selfish. This isn't about believing you're above feedback. Confident people still listen. They still learn. They still grow. But they understand something that changes everything. Not every opinion deserves equal access to their mind. Understand, not every opinion deserves equal access to your mind. Some opinions come from wisdom. Some come from experience. Some come from love, but some come from insecurity. Some come from projection. Some come from jealousy. Some come from fear. Some come from people who haven't built anything but have endless opinions about people who are trying. And confident people learn how to tell the difference. Because if you give every opinion equal authority, you'll spend your life confused. One person says you're too quiet. Another says you talk too much. One person says you're too emotional. Another person says you're emotionally unavailable. One person says you're too ambitious. Another says you lack ambition. Eventually, you realize something. You cannot satisfy everyone. And trying to satisfy everyone is one of the fastest way to lose yourself. The turning point happens, you see, when you stop asking, what do they think about me? And start asking, what do I think about me? That's where confidence begins. Not when everybody approves, not when everybody understands, not when everybody supports you. Confidence begins when your opinion of yourself becomes stronger than the noise around you. And that's why truly confident people appear so free, because they've stopped handing their emotional remote control to everyone else. They no longer need universal approval. They no longer need everyone to understand. They no longer need everyone to agree. They've accepted something powerful. People are going to misunderstand you. People are going to judge you. People are going to project onto you. People are going to make assumptions of you. And none of that has to determine who you become, because your future does not belong to other people's opinions. Your future belongs to your decisions. Your future belongs to your actions. Your future belongs to your growth. Your future belongs to your willingness to keep moving forward despite criticism. And that's where real emotional freedom starts. Not when criticism disappears, not when judgment disappears, not when rejection disappears, but when those things no longer stop you. Because here's the truth. The strongest people aren't the ones who never get criticized. They're the ones who refuse to abandon themselves because of criticism. They're the ones who keep showing up, keep growing, keep learning, keep becoming, even when everybody doesn't understand the journey. And if this is something you've been working through, that's exactly why I wrote my transformation trilogy. Ashes, from survival to stability. Phoenix, from stability to power. And limitless, from power to purpose. Because every transformation begins with letting go of the old version of yourself that was built around fear, approval, or survival. And it continues when you learn to trust your own voice again. So let me leave you with this. The day you stop needing everyone to approve of your life is the day you finally start living it. Not everybody will understand you. Not everybody will support you. Not everybody will see your value. And that's okay. Your job isn't to convince everybody. Your job is to become the person you're capable of becoming. Create a future greater than your past. Stand in your truth. Trust your growth. Respect yourself enough to stop shrinking. And remember, confidence isn't the belief that everyone will like you. Confidence is knowing you'll be okay even if they don't. If this message resonated with you, let me know in the comments. What is one opinion you finally stopped allowing to control your life? If you're new here, subscribe. And as always, peace, blessings, love, and power.